But it reminded me that growing up, I felt like my parents were rather thrifty. And I, we were by no means wealthy growing up, but I felt we were solid middle class. My dad was a college-educated businessman. My mom was a nurse. We had a tiny house. We never had a cool car. More about that later. So, there had to be some discretionary money somewhere, but I didn't feel like it was getting spent. And here's a couple examples. So, I mentioned Sundays were the worst day, especially in winter for Paperboy. So if it was really brutal, my dad would drive us. And we had a blue station wagon that I kind of liked. I'm not saying it was a cool car. I'm just saying it was the coolest car we ever had. So you remember those station wagons with the wood panels? Yeah, it didn't have the wood panel, but it was that car, and I liked that car. And we go out one day, he's driving us, and that car is like this, like a V. And I'm like, what's up with the car, Dad? He's like, guess we'll be taking your mom's car today. It had literally rusted in half. In the north, there's a lot of salt. The frame had run, that was it. That was the end of that car. So my dad goes out later that week to find a nice used car. God forbid he get a new car. And he comes back. Now, this is the late 70s. And he comes back with a 1962 peach-colored Rambler. You ever hear of a Rambler? The car was ridiculous. Yeah. He comes home with this Rambler. My mom was like, what is that? He's like, it's a Rambler. Let me tell you how ridiculous that car was. Not only did it not have a radio or a cassette player in it or an 8-track player, but it had the image of one. It had buttons. It had dials. It said AM, FM, but it was just there for looks. Yeah, that was a real car. He thought that car was awesome. But don't worry. When we got rid of that car, he traded it in for the Dart, the Dodge Dart. Yeah, I went on my first date in that car. It's a wonder I've ever had a date. Yeah, and I can remember when I had my learner's permit, my dad would be like, he'd let me drive that car, and he'd be like, all right, Jim, lock it in at 60, no faster than 65. I'm like, I think we're okay, Dad. We're going to be going down a pretty steep hill for me to get this thing much above 65. He's still convinced that's the best car he's ever had. They don't make them like that slant 6 engine anymore. I'm like, whatever. Yeah, so I thought they were... So another example where they were rather thrifty was with my bike. So when you're a young kid, like I said, growing up, bikes were very meaningful. How do you think we got to the railroad tracks to throw deodorant at each other? Had to have a bike. So it's a big deal to go from a dirt bike to a 10-speed bike. It's a big transition. And my dad decided to take my older sister's bike, weld a bar on it, paint it black. That was my new bike. Yeah, so all my friends had Schwinn's and Huffies, and I got the Roberts private label bike. And I'm like, Dad, what is this? He's like, that's your new bike. I'm like, that's not a new bike. He's like, it's your new bike. Yeah. So that was no fun at all. But I think the worst thing was the clothes. So when I was in middle school, Levi's corduroy jeans were all the rage. And all the cool kids had them in several colors. Tan, blue, gray, green, you name it. And my mom splurged for one pair. I got some tan corduroys. I wore those bad boys out. I'd still wear them today if they fit. They were, I love those corduroys. But she was not going to spring for brand name jeans. Oh no. She goes to the Hills department store, which is, it's not like Target. Target's too nice. It's more like Roses. You guys know Roses? More like that. And she comes home with these big Yank jeans. And I'm like, what are these, Mom? She's like, those are your jeans. I'm like, Big Yank? Yeah, you don't want to splurge for Wrangler or Lee? By the way, not that those are cool, but they're not going to get me beat up like Big Yank jeans are. Yeah, she's like, oh, it's no big deal. Now, thankfully for me, the only place that said Big Yank was that leather tag, so I just cut that tag off, and I had private label jeans to go with my private label bike. Yeah. But that wasn't the worst of it. The worst of it were the hand-me-downs. Now listen, I don't mind hand-me-downs from my older brother. I would have killed for that AC/DC Back in Black shirt that he had. He wasn't giving that up. He may still be wearing that to this day. It was the hand-me-downs from my sisters that I really found disturbing. Yeah, true story. So there's a song by the band, the Bare Naked Ladies, and it's from a children's album. It's really cute if you have kids. They have a great children's album. It's called My Big Sister, and this is how the first line goes. He says, I like my big sister, but I don't want to wear her clothes. And it may be black, and it may fit perfect, but you and I both know that's a girl's coat. And I kid you not, that was exactly my life. So I get handed this brown corduroy jacket that was my sister's. I'm like, what's this? They're like, that's your winter coat. I'm like, no, that's Julie's winter coat. Like, it doesn't fit Julie, but it fits you now. I'm like, but it's a girl's coat. It's kind of long. Zipper's on the wrong side. Nah, you're fine. I'm like, well, what about the teal snow pants? Those are girl snow pants right there. That's not blue, that's teal. Oh, it's fine. Yeah, so I was out there delivering my papers, my teal snow pants, my brown girl coat. Yeah, my therapist and I, we're still working through that. But that wasn't the worst of it. That was not the worst of it. And this is unrelated to being thrifty. But I don't know if you remember braces back in the 70s and 80s, but sometimes you had to wear the headgear. And I had an overbite where I could build dams, so I had some headgear. But I not only had the headgear that goes around the back of your head, oh no. I had the headgear that goes up the side of your face and all the way over the top of your head. Creates like 4 squares. Every morning I'd wake up, my hair would be divided into 4 separate sections. Hold on, I got some props. Hold on. I couldn't find a boy with it, but it looked a lot like this. Yeah. So I was delivering papers in my teal snow pants, girl coat, and that headgear. Yeah. So it was definitely character building.